In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to turn slightly right onto Lewis and Clark Boulevard.
Peace and love, family. Peace and love. It's your brother Isaiah. Again with another video for the conscious brothers and sisters in the conscious community. Keeping the struggle, because we know it's through the struggle we grow. Also, I like to say that it is, in fact, a slow process for progress, and that the race is not to the swift, it's to those that remain dutiful. So stay in this thing for the long haul. Y'all already know none of my videos will constitute legal advice. I'm not a legal counsel. I'm not an attorney or any of those things. Just your brother sharing with you education and information about my walks and travels throughout my journey called life. And I like to
use the right 2 lanes to turn slightly right onto Lewis and Clark Boulevard.
You're honoring yourself. I'd like to give all acknowledgement and adoration to Allah, who is
continue on Lewis and Clark Boulevard for 2 miles.
Courtesy and acknowledgement to all of his messengers and prophets.
Head east on West St. Louis Avenue toward Lewis and Clark Boulevard.
Rising to the indigenous and the chosen ones. How's everyone today? Myself, taking everything in steps, stages, and degrees, unfolding in the womb of these two different worlds. I'm actually on my way to trial for a case.
Continue for 3 miles.
Hopefully y'all can hear me, man. So like every time I get on the live, I get a bogus phone call from some telemarketer or some old stuff like that, trying to interrupt the call, the live. But anyway, I had got pulled over, last year sometime, summertime sometime. It's been about a year, and I had went to a court hearing, and me and the prosecuting attorney couldn't come to a formal agreement concerning certain charges and things like that. So we set up a trial date in order for us to go to trial on the logistics of the matter. Basically, one of the charges was I gave him a passport, and because of, me basically filling the passport out as non-domestic and putting myself not in the jurisdiction of the District of Columbia under the passport application, when they were actually trying to, run the application, they couldn't find any information pertaining to me under that name, under the passport. So it was a lieutenant that I had ran into several months back. He had pulled me over one time, and I had a ID, nationality ID in the name Isaiah Bay. So when he came, right, and because at this time my name hadn't been legally changed over to Isaiah yet, it was still under Liddell. So I still had a passport. My passport was still in the name Liddell. I hadn't updated it yet to Isaiah. So when I gave him my passport, which was the identification document that I was currently using, and he couldn't find none, he was mad. Because we sat out there for about 30 minutes, and he was just, "You don't have any other ID?" "Nah, I ain't got no other ID." So he couldn't do nothing. So then the lieutenant pulled up and was like, "Man, his name is Isaiah," or something like that, he said. And they went back to the car and started talking. I guess they was looking some stuff up, trying to match a picture with the name Isaiah. And then they found a file under Isaiah that matched me, right? So they booked me under the name Isaiah rather than the name or the ID that I actually had gave to him, right? Instead of them booking me under the passport as Liddell, they booked me under Isaiah. Then he wrote me up for false declaration. Said that I falsified, I gave him a false name. Then he said that I altered a passport. Said that I constructed or did some stuff to the passport and altered the passport. Wrote up a bogus charge, basically, you know what I'm saying? So that's actually basically what I'm going to trial for today, you know what I'm saying? That bogus charge. And it was just crazy that, you know, he was able to, you know, because when I went to court, I even showed the district attorney. I'm like, yo, this is what your man said that I altered right here. Does this look like this is an altered document to you? You know what I'm saying? And he was just looking, and I showed him. I'm like, you know, the charge is bogus, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all writing bogus charges. So at that time, you know, he really wasn't trying to hear what I was trying to say, because these people, they just, when I learned about these people, is that they're money hungry. You know what I'm saying? They are all about trying to get some money. You know what I'm saying? So once you understand that everything is about business with them, you got to learn how to actually speak the same language that they speak, and how to actually deal with matters at hand. One of the main things is understanding that, you know, like your true name, your surname, and your given name is your proper name. And, you know, in their system, it's never going to actually show your name in upper and lowercase letters. You know, sometimes you might receive a letter from an institution and they'll put your name in upper and lowercase letters, the full name. But most of these institutions is going to always deal with you in the all cap formation when they dealing with the style of your name. So like I've been saying, it ain't too much really about, it is about your name being in all caps, but not so much as to what type of name it is. Is the name a first, a middle, and a last name, or a legal name, or is it a surname and given name identifying a natural person? You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of times when they call you into court, you know, you got to understand, like if you go to the Social Security POMS manual and you read in the POMS manual, it'll tell you, you look up the legal name on the Social Security's POM manual, it'll tell you that a legal name consists of a first and a last name that's registered usually at birth and used to put on contracts and agreements. So they took your first and your last name, which is what we call, your first name is your full first name, meaning that your first name got two parts to it. You might be Andy Johnson Taylor, but Andy and Johnson is really
in
your
1,000
first name.
feet,
It's
turn
not
left
a
onto
middle
Illinois
name
143
involved
East,
in
East
Andy
Edwardsville
Johnson,
Road.
but we've been taught that is our middle name, but the middle name is what's creating a new character or some type of legal character. And
turn
that
left onto Illinois 143 East, East Edwardsville Road.
Their little venues and things like that. So when they send out a notice to you, it's usually going to be like on the notice
Continue
that
on
I got
Illinois
for
143 East
they
for
got
7 miles.
Isaiah and they got J Bay. You know, I don't know. I don't never spell my name Isaiah J Bay in the first place. I don't have a J in my name. My middle name is not J period. I don't have one. So when you say Isaiah J Bay, that's something that you have to actually correct with them, letting them know that you don't have there's no middle initial in your name, and that initial that they have is inaccurate. And then you have to actually show proof and be able to get them to correct any errors that they have and the way that your name is being presented. Usually when we dealing with the court, we want our surname to be first. You're not calling your surname your first name. I'm not saying that your surname is your first name. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you're displaying your true identity, your surname should always be written in the front. and then followed by a comma or some type of hyphen or something that will actually separate your surname from your given name. You know what I'm saying? So the proper way that, like, if they were actually going to charge you, that's the way the notice should come to you. It should come surname, comma, and then it should have your given name behind it. That's proof that they dealing with a natural person, because they're identifying the surname and the given name. But when they come to you with that first, middle, last style, stuff like that, that's the legal name. That's the official business name. And that name, you needs to be registered. That's the whole purpose in you doing the DBA with your state, because a lot of people do foreign. I'm not saying you can't use a foreign DBA like Minnesota Rule 220. You can't go in Minnesota and register your name with them if it's easier to get a registration with that state. You can do that also. But whatever your state requires in order to register a foreign entity in your state, you have to register it as a foreign entity. Say you go to Minnesota and you do a DBA, and then you run it in the paper and everything like it tells you to do for Minnesota. All right, but then your state has a certain way that registrations have to be done as far as for foreign entities. So now what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to look up your state Foreign Entity Registration Act, and then whatever your state requires to register a foreign entity in that state, you're gonna have to register that DBA in your state as a foreign person. Now the DBA will be in compliance not only with Minnesota rule, but it'll also be in compliance with your state as far as for registration of foreign entities. Because if you go to a different state and bring that to your state, that's foreign. That's a foreign entity. And if it ain't registered to be recognized in your state as a foreign vessel, then it can actually mess up everything you're trying to do. But the reason for the DBA is strictly for your protection. All right, so say for instance, like I'm going in here now, and the name that they charging is Isaiah J. Bay, all right, or Isaiah Bay, or whatever name they want to, however style they want to use it. All right, I can actually show a DBA showing that that name is registered and doing business as the People's Remedy, or whatever it is that I choose to actually do business under. So now the same name that's being charged, actually I can pull out a certificate of registration showing that that person is registered as a business, and then at the bottom it got the name of the owners of the business, and then my true name, Bay Isaiah Jakeem, which is the way that it is styled on my DBA. They got Bay first, comma, and then it got Isaiah Jakeem. And I didn't actually put no comma in there and do that. When I registered the DBA and filled it out, it automatically, when you go to the owner section in Missouri, and you go to the owner section and you put your information in, it automatically puts that in there. The J Bay, it put Bay, comma, Isaiah Jakeem as the name of the owner, right? Now that's prima facie evidence that the correct style that your name should be being recognized in is your surname first, and then your given name, in order to properly identify you as a proper man or proper woman. Now I'm gonna give you proof that what I'm saying is true. If you take out your driver's license, right, or you take out your passport, or you take out any state photo identification card that you hold in your possession, all right, what you're going to notice is that at the very top of the ID where your name is, it got your surname up top. It got that name as the first name. When you read the names, that's the first name that pops up is your surname, what we call the last name. And then right below it if you notice, it got both your first, what we call first and middle name, they both side by side, right up under your surname. See, so they're actually, in reality, hold up, y'all. Actually, in reality, they already got it styled in a way as like a surname and a given name, but they're just not saying on that identification card that that's what that name is. They're just looking at it, trying to say it's a legal name, but the way, if you look at your driver's license, you'll see that it's already styled with the surname first, and then it got the right below it. That's the way that they system recognize you. In their system, it recognizes you by your surname and your given name. In the public, it recognizes you by first, middle, and last name, but that's the legal name. That's the administrative name for contracts and agreements. Like when I'm going into the court, they got to deal with the legal person because that's the legal administrative name that they can interact with. That's the corporate name that they are able to charge, able to, do business with. But on the opposite side of that is the true identity. You got to remember, every corporation, every legal entity will always have a proper legal name, right? So, like if I got an LLC, the proper name for that LLC will be my legal government name. That will be the legal name of my LLC. The LLC is actually, it's considered as the business name of my business entity, but the legal name of my business will be my government name. That's the legal name of my business. All right. So when you're doing business under your personal, your legal name, the true name of that individual business will be your surname and your given name, which is the proper name of the legal entity, right? Because actually the name that they registered was the surname and given name together as one legal name. So the DBA is definitely something that you want to have filed into your case, or filed with the prosecuting attorney and requested him to actually file that into the case as evidence, and any other identification like a passport and a certificate of live birth, actually, because you got to remember, a birth certificate is a document verifying that somebody was born. All right. So when you're trying to prove that you were born alive or you are a natural person, then you want to use a certificate of live birth, which is also a certificate of citizenship. All right. It's also the same thing as a birth certification or a birth certificate, what we call it. But a certificate of live birth is the exact same thing. All right. So anything that can basically prove with the state that you are in fact living, you are alive, and that the name that they actually are charging is actually inaccurate. See, when I first came home from the feds, I was out like 8 months. It was my first interaction with the state. 19 traffic citations had went as active warrants, and they was like over 20 years old. I had been studying
In
redemption
800 feet, you will arrive at your
when I was in
destination.
a federal institution. About everything about our name and everything. Of course, at this time, I never really had an opportunity to actually utilize the information I was learning. So I wrote 3 affidavits, a power of attorney stating that, me, the man, was acting as the authorized person for the legal person, right? And it's good. Now, let me say this too with your power of attorney, because I figured this out from just studying, right?
You have arrived.
Another good thing you wanna actually do is you want to the reason why you want to do the DBA. Another good reason why you want to do the DBA is for the simple fact that the DBA once it's done, it automatically registers that legal name as another business name. It gives your legal character another business name to do business under. Not only is that good for you because it shows that the legal character is actually a business. You got to think about this. Only a business can do business as another name. Not a man. Like when you say DBA, you're saying doing business as. All right, so that means that this must already be a business that you're using, but you're doing business as another name besides the name or the actual name of the business that you're actually using. So the reason why the DBA will be so important is because it automatically gives the legal entity John Henry Doe another name to do business with, which in fact shows that John Henry Doe is in fact already a business because it's doing business as another business name, right? You registered that name as another name in order for your business to have another name to do business under. See, and that's why the DBA is so critical. But let me say this too, like, you know how a lot of people been doing their power of attorney, right? And you've been having all these issues with them saying, oh, well, this person is the same person and these names are the same. Well, that's the purpose of the DBA. So when you do, like, when you say that the principal, John Henry Doe, is assigning, you know, the surname and given name as his lawful agent to act, you know, in a fiduciary capacity for it, you can say that John Henry Doe doing business as the People's Remedy is hereby assigning John Doe as his agent. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever. See, so when you do the DBA, you're giving more protection to the way that you can actually do business. So now I can act, not only do I just say John Henry Doe is assigning, you know, the natural man as I can say John Henry Doe doing business as, and put the new business name, and then say that this individual business is assigning this man as its agent. So that automatically, when you say doing business as, they can't say, oh, well, these are the two same, this is the same person. Because at this one right here, John Henry Doe is doing business as this. So this person down here that's the agent could never be the same as the one doing business. So that's another way of creating that power of attorney to be able to show a clear distinction between the two characters. Okay, just a good practice that you can use. Like, that's why you want to actually create a DBA. And then, like, you know how when you go to court and you try to file your power of attorney with them and you be having issues and they try to say that the two people, when you got the DBA on file and you got the power of attorney saying that John Henry Doe doing business is assigning this man as his agent, and then you got all the other documents supporting, you know, who you are, and it'll be a lot easier for you to deal with the matters at hand. Whenever you deal with these courts and they got your name incorrect, that's the first thing you should address to them, is that the name is incorrect, that the name is actually, the name that you have is actually my business name. That's not my real name that you have on the case. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I just walked in and said that, of course they're gonna try to play these games with me. But when I pull that DBA out and I show them, I say, as you can see right here, here's my registered name right here. It's showing that the name that you have on paper is actually doing business as the People's Remedy, and that I'm the owner of it. And then at the bottom, it's going to have Bay Isaiah Jakeem with the comma behind Bay, and then Isaiah Jakeem as the owner. And that's when I'm going to go down to the bottom and say, hey, look, I'm the owner. And then I can pull out my passport. You see what I'm saying? Boom, here's my identification. And now my passport matches my name on the DBA, showing that that is I am who I say I am. You see what I'm saying? And then if I have my certificate of live birth, showing that I'm a living person, and that if you're going to charge me, or if you're saying that there's an assertion of a claimant having a sworn claim against me, then I want to make sure that the claim is actually against me And because right here is showing that it's against my business. You see what I'm saying? And that's just it's just you know, once you start learning how to actually prove your points with these people, to the point to where it's undeniable that what you're saying is true, when you got the documentation to back up everything to show that what you're saying is true and correct, they got to honor that. You know what I'm saying? They have to honor the fact that the name is incorrect, and then they have to correct the name, because if you're saying that it's a man being charged, and see, let me give you this. Have you ever wondered why, like, say for instance, whenever you get charged, say you committed a crime and you were selling drugs, but they never make because a man got the right to have whatever substance he wants. There's no crime in walking down the street with cocaine in your hand. As a man, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But as a legal person, you have to follow statutory laws. That's the legal character, but that's not the real man. So what they're doing is alleging charges against your legal character under statutes, rules, and regulations, because it was created under statutory law, like as a statutory trust account, right? Which has to follow statutory laws, rules, and regulations. So when you walking down the street as a natural person and you got a substance in your hand, there's no crime in that at all. But if the name that they're charging is a legal person, then that legal name is under legal and statutory law, because it was created under that, right? So whenever they write the charge against you, have you ever noticed that they never show you a sworn complaint from a claimant? Like, a constitution says that whenever there's a crime, you got the rights to see the complaint filed against you, face your accuser face to face, and all of that. The reason why you never really face the accuser is because it's a fictitious person. It does not exist. They're saying you did a crime against the state, or they're saying you did a crime against a police station or a municipality or a subdivision, all right? Which these are all legal entities. As a natural man or a natural woman, you have the right to see the sworn complaint against you. That's why when you walk in the courtroom and you tell them who you truly are, and you provide them that, you know, and you ask, well, is there anybody in here that has a claim against me? And you give them your proper name, and you say that that best of all, you got to make that special appearance, and you got to verify and express the trust. You know, that, because like if they say John Doe, or if they say Isaiah Bay, I would say, yes, I'm here in regards to that matter. However, before I continue, I would like to ask a few questions, or we are on the record. And if they say we're on the record, then I would like, okay, well, thank you. And I would say, well, yes, again, I'm here in regards to that matter. However, let the record reflect that John Henry Doe is a registered trust with the state, and I am the beneficial owner of the trust. And I'm here and as making a special visitation in regards to, and then if they ask me what my name is, I would tell them to refer to the record. You know what I'm saying? I would say, being that my name and the name of the trust are similar in pronunciation and spelling, however different in character when expressed by law, I choose not to give my name, because that would incriminate me, or that could create a cause of joinder between me and the trust. So that I don't incriminate myself, I ask that the court seek to the record to see my identity, for I have provided documentation in order to verify my identity, or I have certain documents in my possession that I can forward to you through the bailiff so you can see my proper identity. So because you don't want to express your name in reference to the name of the trust because they similar, so that's going to automatically do this. It's going to join y'all together. If they say Isaiah Bay and you say, hey, yeah, well, I'm Bay Isaiah Jakeem, and you use it, they're going to say that these are the same person, right? So you got to actually know how to actually not incriminate yourself in reference to the records that's being forwarded, and be able to have documents to back that up. But the reason why they never show you a sworn complaint is because if you go and you get the complaint, you would notice that no entity could never make a complaint against a natural person. A natural person. They can never make a complaint against a natural person, only a legal one, right? So every time you step in the courtroom they're actually making a complaint against the legal person, which is your legal character. They're never making a complaint against you, the natural man or the natural woman. So the whole thing is for you to verify your identity with them. This is all about identity, yo. Everything we deal with, from banking, from accounting, from dealing with the courts legally, you know what I'm saying, criminal, it's all dealing with your identity. Theft is the biggest crime in the world, right? The biggest crime is that they're stealing your right to be recognized and to be identified in order to receive any benefits that you are entitled to, because God gave man the world, and man has the rights to subdue and replenish the earth, and man is entitled to all benefits for just being alive. So if I can create another character and take your character and put them in a legal sense, then I can strip away certain natural rights, inherited rights that you have. That's why you never deal with constitutional principles whenever you're dealing with them, because they're not recognizing a natural person. They're only dealing with a legal entity. So it's best that you learn how to actually show proof that the name is actually a registered business, and be able to verify your true identity with them, being able to show your proper name, whether it's on a registration statement, whether it's through a passport, or whether it's through a declaration of status, of you declaring your rightful, natural, God-given, inherited status as a natural man, or I can't even think of the name of it right now, but it'll come to me. But I just wanted to come on and state that before the record, just to let you know that, that this document right here is so important, man. This document right here is so important, man. It really is. This is a very important document, right? And very important. And it's important for you to understand what it means when you're non-domestic. When you're filling out your mail and stuff, you got to stop using zip codes. You gotta take the zip codes up out of there. You gotta understand that you zip exempt. You're non-domestic. You're not in the district. You're in the territory of that state. I live in the territory of Illinois. I don't live in Illinois state. I don't live in the District of Columbia. The state of Illinois is the District of Illinois. You got to understand that. All right. The territory is Illinois state. It's the actual land, the territory, the area, right, being occupied by the state of Illinois. And as a man, that's why when we get pulled over and we give them this, that's basically what this is saying. It's basically saying that you're not in the District of Columbia. You're basically letting them know, hey, look, I'm a national, and I live with, and they'd be like, well, all Illinois citizens have to have a driver's license. And that's when you let them know I'm not a citizen of Illinois. All right. Well, where do you so you don't stay in Illinois? I stay in the territory of Illinois state. I'm a national. So it's the language. It's the way you speak to them. You got to know how to talk. You got to know, what words to use and where you at all given times, or else you'll be putting yourself in the wrong jurisdiction, right? And then you'll be making yourself accessible to all this stuff that they got going on. So I just wanted to say that I'm about to get ready to get up there for this trial. I had some glasses, right, that actually record. But when you plugging them up, the plug part came off, so it got to get soldered back together so I can use them again. But I was gonna go in here and record everything on the glasses for you, so you can actually see, how your brother, go to work, But inshallah, it'll take in due time. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up in here so I can clock in a little bit early and sit down and observe the scenery and stuff and see what they got going on. They're gonna already know who I am when I walk in, because usually when you come in and you got something like a turban, like what I got on my head and all that, they hate to see us come in there with this or a fez. They really don't say nothing when you wear the fez. They used to try to say something. They don't say nothing. But like if I come in a kufi, or if I come in with this on, they be like, sir, you need to take your hat off. No, I don't. I told them this religious. Well, I wear this religiously. What are you talking about? They be looking at me crazy. They be looking like, yes, this shut your ass up. Like, this is religious head work. You can't tell me what I can and can't wear religiously. You know what I'm saying? Period. It could be a football cap. Man, this religious head work. You ain't finna tell me what to do or none of that. You know what I'm saying? So, it's good to know that, because a lot of times they try you. Like, I had a judge come in one time and I had a kufi on. And, they already knew who I was, because when I came in and they was trying to get the sign in part, I signed a certain way, because in Illinois, I'm gonna take a picture of it so you can see it, like the little form they want you to sign, and I'm gonna show you so you can read it, how they be trying to contract you in just by signing in. When you sign in, they got you agreeing to all this stuff and all this and that. I'm gonna show it to you when I take a picture of it, right? How they try to contract you in, right? But the way I signed and the things I saying, they was already talking about me. So they was whispering to each other and stuff and looking at me. So when the magistrate come out of everybody in the courtroom, he pointed at me. He said, "Hey, you." He said, you with the hat on, you need to take that hat off. And I said, "You talking to me?" He said, "Yeah, you." I said, "No, I will not be taking this off. This is religious head work." He said, "Okay, well, we'll talk about it later." I said, "Yeah, we'll talk about it later." And he just went on and kept doing what he was doing or whatever, because they be trying to get, authority over you by telling you to do something. And then when you do it, it's as if you're under their authority, or if they ask you a question and you answer their question, it shows that they have the authority. That's why every question is answered with a question. If they say Isaiah Bay, it's like they're asking the question, is Isaiah Bay here? All right, that's a question. If you say yes, you just answered the question. So if you say Isaiah Bay here, I say, are you saying that the name Isaiah Bay that you just called out is the Isaiah Bay Trust Fund? That's what I'm going to say to him. We're going to say, what did you just say? I said, the name that you just called out, Isaiah Bay, I'm asking, are you referring to the Isaiah Bay Trust Fund? Is the court about to administer the Isaiah Bay's Trust Fund, sir? That's what I'm gonna say, because I know what the hell going on. I know what the court. The court is the judiciary is a trust office. The judiciary is a trust office. You can go look this up in the Supreme Court rules. It tell you that when you go to court, you're in trust. You're in trust. I don't give a damn what they say. You're in trust. Your name is a trust. A U.S. citizen is a trust. So whenever they call out the name John Doe, they're asking for somebody to accept liability for the trust. You'll be a damn fool to be like, yeah, I'm here for, yeah, that's me. You basically saying you John Doe. No, you ask him a simple question with a question. He say John Doe, you say, yes, I'm hearing concerns to that matter. However, are you referring that John Doe, when you say the name John Doe, are you referring to the Isaiah Joaquin Bay's Trust Fund? That's what you ask him. When he called that name out, you ask him. You say, are you referring to the John Bay Doe Trust Fund? Because if you're referring to that trust fund, then yes, I'm the beneficiary of that trust. Yeah, you got me messed up. You hear me? You got me all the way messed up. But I gotta go, y'all. I'm coming back and let y'all know how it went. Y'all have a blessed, y'all have a wonderful day. I'll be back once I leave this office. All right, peace and love.